Very important, I think, is that when you start building up a collection, you rarely start from scratch. So when I came directly in 2008, there already was a collection. So I could have said like, oh, I love French haute couture, let's start collecting haute couture, because there's no point in doing that as an Antwerp museum, because there are two magnificent museums in Paris with amazing collections, Palais Galliera and Art Decoratif. So you have to just think about what is your unique selling proposition. What are you best in? And for us, that was Belgian fashion. And my predecessor, Linda Lopa, end of the 90s, started more and more focusing on Belgian fashion. So I continued that strategy. And like Kate explained, you're always trying to fill the gaps. So what I'm doing now is trying to fill in the gaps of Belgian designers at the period beginning of the 90s, trying to find pieces through auction houses, through gifts, through wardrobes that are offered to the museum. We are government funded. We get funding through the Flemish community and also through the provincial government. And then, of course, we're also made responsible for gaining own funds, so we can keep our ticket income, sponsorship, private donations, events we organize. And I think that more and more becomes a tendency that you are forced as a museum to find alternative funding.
The V&A is slightly different. It was established in 1852 and it was established out of the profits of the Great Exhibition of 1851. Fashion hasn't always found a place within the museum, and at the time it wasn't regarded as a serious discipline. The museum did start to collect early on historic textiles. They were more highly valued than clothing was. But over time, the place of fashion has found a firm footing in the museum. It's now our most popular galleries. But this change in attitude is summed up by the fact that it wasn't until the 1970s that we had a dedicated fashion curator. In terms of the way that the museum is funded, we also are government funded, but we because of the economic situation, we experience cuts year on year, or relative cuts with inflation. And so we also have to actively fundraise, and we have a very strong commercial wing. We do have a very active publishing element to the museum, and lots of merchandising products as well that's very successful for us. And the curators, I mean, we are employed by the museum, and sometimes we're on permanent contracts, other times we're on shorter term contracts that are related to the length of a particular exhibition. But it's also important for me to point out that the V&A is a free museum. The permanent collections are free for everybody, but we do charge for our temporary exhibitions, and that's by virtue of the fact that it costs an awful lot of money to stage these temporary shows.
На самом деле у меня есть еще один вопрос в продолжение этой беседы. Скажите, пожалуйста, какого рода, то есть мы говорим очень много про коллекции, про хранение, а какого рода еще, про выставочную деятельность, какого рода еще параллельные инициативы существуют в музеях, которые позволяют сделать музей такой коммуникационной, может быть, платформой для профессионалов, для молодых дизайнеров, может быть, вы устраиваете какие-то, не знаю, встречи, клубы, дискуссионные лекции, где знакомите аудиторию с дизайнерами, или узкопрофессиональные какие-то истории, связанные с историей моды или с ситуацией современной. Вот об этом будет бы рад, если вы расскажете. Что делать для молодых дизайнеров?
Yes, the V&A has always had education right at its core. It was founded by Prince Albert and Henry Kohler, a civil servant, with the mission to make public works of art available to all, to educate and to inspire. So education has been there right from the start. We have formal links with the Royal College of Art, and we run a joint master's programme in the history of design. We have very good links with the fashion schools in London, so London College of Fashion and Central St Martin's College. as well. We have a very active events programme, a dedicated department in the museum that runs workshops of fashion design, so practical hands-on courses, lots of public lectures, lots of public events. Also we have a very active artists in residence programme, so where artists or designers can set up a studio within the museum so the public can actually see them working in action, as it were. So total accessibility is what we're trying to achieve at the museum, with a collection of more than 2 million objects, and only 10% is available to be viewed in the displays in the galleries. It's really important that we not only improve digitalisation and improve our online offering, but we also need to start thinking about really new innovative ways of opening up our collections, opening up the storage, so that people can come and see them. You can see everything that's in the V&A's collections, you just need to make an appointment and you can come to our storage facilities to see it.
I think there are huge opportunities in the digital. Like Kate said, also we have a minority of our collection on view, and I think our biggest challenge is to get our collection out in the world and to have people, students, designers, artists who work with our collection, to curate our collection, to tell our stories. And I think up to now, museums have been working very much in a one-way direction, and I think we much more want to work in interaction with designers and artists. We are working on a digital platform which we will hopefully launch in 2018. We're going to launch a website in 2017. These are all very complex processes. Up to now we were forced, actually I'm not going to tell the entire story, but to work with the website. It's very static, really horrible. and that is really a handicap for us, because fashion is a visual medium, and how to communicate that when you have a website that is super static. So the digital, and also we have been investing in the digitalization of our collections, 3D photography, but also in commissioning films with designers and artists related to our collection. Because the hardest thing to do as a museum is to bring in the dynamics of fashion. Fashion is a very visual medium, and in a museum, when you display the objects, it's always in a static way, because you have these restrictions linked to conservation and preservation of the objects. And there again, I think the digital holds huge opportunities for us. We've been commissioning fashion films, and that was like a very interesting experience. We've asked designers to work with our collection, and of course there are restrictions, but digitally they could create new worlds around these objects. And I think fashion film is a quite recent medium that designers use to communicate their collections instead of the traditional lookbook or fashion shoot. And I'm interested to see how we as a museum can use that medium as well. So there are many ways to curate fashion, and I think few museums have really experimented with it in really interesting ways. So I can't wait to work with artists and designers that come up to us and help us to get that collection out in the world, and to address new audiences.
Здравствуйте, благодарю вас за очень интересную беседу. Меня зовут Вера Якучи, я дизайнер одежды. Была приглашена недавно Музеем декоративно-прикладного искусства участвовать в их выставке, посвященной истории кружева в России. И вот сейчас мы готовим совместно с дизайнером украшений, совместную экспозицию. И у меня вот просьбы или конкретные вопросы, поскольку для нас это первый опыт, и вообще, в принципе, в России нет такого активного опыта экспонирования современных дизайнеров. Какие конкретные моменты мы должны учесть при подготовке к выставке? Осталось всего лишь 2 недели, мы ограничены в формате экспонирования, практически все готово, естественно, мы еще ограничены в бюджетировании, но все же какие-то основные моменты, потому что можно сказать, что мы не знаем об этом ничего. Благодарю вас.
Ну, видимо, имеется в виду универсальные какие-то советы, потому что ребята не видели вашей коллекции. Есть ли какие-то, допустим, 5 секретов успешной выставки?
I think I want to go back to what I was saying earlier. What is really compelling with young designers is that need for storytelling, because this industry is like highly competitive and like even more and more. There's like, limited spots because people are just buy a limited amount of products, and it's just very same way with the contemporary art world. It's just very hard to emerge. So I think whatever the final product is, it's just the way you're going to frame it through, again, a lot of other disciplines such as scenography, music, narration, performance, use of theatrical, 3D, whatsoever. But it's just how you picture it in your mind and how you're going to address it to the public. So basically designing an environment that magnifies what you're trying to show.
I would say always remember that everything comes back to the objects. Alexander McQueen of the Savage Beauty exhibition was very unusual with the level of scenography that was involved, and not every exhibition could have that kind of design element. And it doesn't need to be. The clothing would be as remarkable seen behind, with a blank wall behind it. So I think sometimes less can be more. You need to think about how each object is telling a story, but always make the focus be on the objects themselves and give each one, the space that it needs to tell its story.
I would like to add maybe one thing. What I find often one of the hardest things when exhibiting fashion, if you show the garments complete looks, is to recreate a body, because you always start from this situation where you can't bring in a living body, and so you work with mannequins and busts, and it's super difficult to do it well, and if it's not done in the right way, it looks horrible.